Hey, I have a special Christmas show. My favorite guy, George Kahumoku, is here today to do our Christmas music and to talk about his latest adventures and travel and his wonderful honor just receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award. How amazing is that? The Lifetime Achievement Award from Nahoku Hanohano. And you went over there December 5th on Sunday. And it was quite an honor.
It was quite an honor, especially, when I figured that the guys, there was only, they gave out 5 awards, and one was for huapala.org, so that's a huge organization, and that Wahine passed away. Another one was for my friend Randy Fong, and, we actually wrote a couple of songs together when I was a principal for community schools at Haleoponopono, way back in 1974-75. And then they also honored this Mona Joy, and she was one of the people who was on Broadway and stuff. She was like 92 years old or something. It's just crazy, So it felt really great to be amongst all those different guys who got the awards, and I was really honored to be there, and I'm very humbled by the fact that I was honored by these other icons of. Like huapala.org, she started recording all of the songs and having the lyrics and all of the words and everything like in the correct Hawaiian format and all like that, and talking to she's been doing this for like 25 years already. So, and she passed away, so her son actually was there to receive the awards.
Was it done in a ballroom? Where did they hand out the awards?
It was at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, and that hotel is still there. It's right down on and you can see Kaimana Hila or Diamond Head in I took some pictures and stuff.
Beautiful. And, they have great pictures of the old Hawaii and some of the history there in the halls.
In fact, in one of the hallways, they had a picture of my great-great-grand uncle from 1915. He was the court chanter for King David Kalakaua in the 1860s, 70s until Kalakaua died. So he was still alive, and he taught my grandma, my tutu Emily Ho'opali Dule, how to dance the hula, and Auntie Iolani Luahine. She was a Makikau Luahine. And Auntie Io didn't have kids, so she kept the hula going. And my grandmother had 13 kids, so she got out of the hula. But that was my the court chanter is Antun Kau'o, and the name Kau'o is in our family genealogy as well. So I got aunties who are named after him.
Well, you
Antonia, Auntie Mary, Maile, Antonia Kau'o, named after him.
Well, it was a very special occasion, very, very special honor, which you well deserve. I mean, at this point, you have so many albums. I think I've lost track, about 40 albums.
Well, if you count, we were putting out, in the beginning, it was 8-track. Then we had 45s, 33s. Then we went to cassette, now into CDs. So if you count them, maybe 150 different things that I've been
amazing.
on. Maybe about 30 or 40 solo things, and my brother about 8 to 10 albums. And with Dancing Cat, I think I put out 3 or 4 albums with him.
And was it 5 Grammys or 4 Grammys?
Oh, I've been nominated 7 times, and I got 5 Grammys for Best Hawaiian Music.
I mean, I was just talking with Cindy Schumacher, who's here. She's going to do an article for the Lahaina News on you for Christmas, and about this wonderful honor of you receiving this award. I was just telling her, I think sometimes we tend to take for granted the most amazing people like you that have done so much because you're so busy, George. You work so hard. You just came back from a tour.
Yeah.
You were in
Santa Cruz, California, last week.
And where else?
Then I traveled. I did a 11 state tour with Daniel Ho and Tia Carrera in 11 states, 40 gigs in 23 days.
Wow.
And we sold out most of the shows. And some shows they added on shows. So like in Napa Valley, we added on 4 more shows.
I've heard Napa's gotten big. Is that the Blue Note you did?
Yeah, the Blue Note is a fantastic gig, and plus they get good food. And they just actually
this Napa, you got wine and cheese.
And actually, I met some of my family friends. My great grandfather back in the 1800s had he was born in maybe 18 something, but he had 26 brothers and sisters. And I met one of his younger sisters. She left Hawaii in 1920, and married a naval guy from, I guess, World War II or something. So they settled in Napa. They own a whole winery. Her name is not Kahumoku. Her name is Wilson, because she made, and then the Betaloni Farms or something like that. It's amazing. They have
Did
a
you
whole.
get to see them?
Yeah, not only did they, I've met them at Napa at the Blue Note, but then they were so, enthralled at the fact that we made a connection. They actually, 10 of them caught planes, and they came to the Lifetime Achievement Awards in Honolulu. And I felt so bad because, I was, right after the awards, I had to come back over here because I had another gig over here. So I couldn't stay in, they rented a whole, house and all this kind of stuff. And then,
Oh, my gosh.
they brought their family. There's only 10 who came to the awards, but there's about 20 or 30 of them with their kids, they all came back to Honolulu. I said, if you guys came to Maui, then I could take care of you guys, but
Yeah.
they went to and then they just rented, I think they stayed at Elizabeth Taylor's house right down right down there by Coco Head.
I didn't know about that one. That's
Yeah.
a good tip.
And they had swimming pools and everything like that. They rented
I
the
didn't
whole
know
house.
Elizabeth Taylor had a
It
house
had,
on
40,
Oahu.
it had about 44 rooms or something. So they took up the
Oh
mansion.
my gosh! And you couldn't stay. I
Yeah.
can't. Well, you just came out with another one. This is so perfect. You have a new CD.
Well, this is called Maui Slacky Christmas. And I actually did this a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
I used to do a lot of gigs down at Keavalai Church. This is like a sister church of
Oh
ours.
yes.
Yeah, so we're lucky. So I wrote some songs on there as well and things like that.
What's some of your favorite Christmas songs that you do?
Well, of course, my favorite is a song called Pula'i'e, which means Silent Night. And then, of course, Mele Kaliki Maka, And there's so many songs that I wrote. I should have brought my songbook too, because there's some songs that I wrote that for Keavalai Church and stuff like that. And then there's also, I got to look at this, what I got on this album too, because I haven't seen it for a while. Okay. Uamau, that's a really great song. And, and then there's O'Yo, that's a Maori song. And Feliz Navidad. I learned that song from my students. When I taught at Lahaina Luna High School, I had lots of Mexican students, so they taught me how to sing that, Feliz Navidad. So, yeah. So, I don't know, you want to bust into the song? Or?
Yeah, bust into a song.
Okay.
Always love your songs.
Okay, we're going to do, this is the most famous of the Hawaiian song. Mele Kaliki Maka is a thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island's greetings that we send to you from the land where palm trees sway. Here we know that Christmas will be green and bright. Sun will shine by day and all the stars at night. Mele Kaliki Maka is Hawaii's way to say Merry Christmas. Mele Kaliki Maka, Merry Christmas to you.
It's one of the great ones. I was talking to someone the other day about Mele Kaliki Maka and the fact that most all of the world that listens to music can now say Mele Kaliki Maka because of that song. And no, you can't, how words are mispronounced and no one knows how to say Merry Christmas in other languages except Feliz Navidad, because of the song, right?
Right.
But you know what no one's done, and maybe it's time to do this, Uncle George. No one's done a New Year's song, so no one knows how to say Happy New Year in Hawaiian. I don't think there's one Hawaiian song that says Happy New Year. Can you think of any?
Well, this Happy New Year, if you would say, is Hau'ole La New is no. Hau'ole no la or Hau'ole La No, N-O-U, which means new, so I've actually written a song like La No, but I didn't finish it. Like I said, I wrote hundreds of songs and chants That would be a
I
good
thought
idea.
it was Aloha
I-
Makihiko. Aloha, maybe.
Yeah, Makahikiho is another,
Yeah, yeah.
Makahi's like the New Year. But then that Makahiki actually starts in October.
Yes.
Because that's what we
That's
did
right.
last year for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Right,
for
right.
Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving
I got
Makahiki.
Cindy in the studio, but the mic's not close enough. So if you hear someone rumbling in the back, they
That's
have to
me.
talk more
Just get
into
up closer.
the mic.
Yeah, and that Makahi starts with the moon and the stars in what we call Makali'i.
Speaking of the stars, there's so many songs. I have to give you, before you leave, my new book called The Christmas Gift, which I wrote about. A lot of it is about the Christmas star. And one of the great songs about the Christmas star, there's a couple of many of Christmas songs actually, but Oh Holy Night, the stars were brightly shining, is...
Holy night. I know those in Hawaiian, but I gotta go.
Do you
look
know
up
that
the
in
words.
Hawaiian?
Yeah, but I gotta go. See, I hope you. I gotta take notes. Write it down. I gotta write "Oh Holy Night" in Hawaiian because I have it in someplace.
Oh Holy Night, Silent Night, of
Can
course.
you do
The
Silent
stars,
Night in Hawaiian now?
the stars were
Can you do
brightly
Silent Night?
shining.
I can do
Hawaiian?
Silent Night in
Oh, yeah,
Hawaiian.
let's hear that.
You want to hear
Yeah.
Silent Night in Hawaiian? Okay. This is a song I learned as a kid. We would sing. Actually, when I was a boy growing up in South Kona, Kealia, we only had 2 cars, and the cars were used for taxis. But most of the time, we rode horses. When I was 3 years old, I manifested getting a horse. And by the time I was 5, just by using that huna,
Yes, the
thinking
visual.
about it, dreaming, visualizing.
Feeling it.
And then actually went over to shovel manure so I would know what it smelled like and everything. So I got a sense.
What kind of horse did you get?
I was an old Hawaiian horse and Spanish breed. But what happened is my uncle saw that I loved the horse so much. He had a string of horses. So when the next time a horse gave birth, when I was about 5 years old, he gave me that horse called Jimmy Boy. I named him Jimmy Boy. Yeah.
Oh, isn't it
So you
always
grew up with
special,
him.
your
So
horse?
so at Christmas, believe it or not, in our village, we had a small village, about 1,000 people, but we would jump on our horses or donkey, whatever you had, and we go from house to house singing carols.
Oh.
And then people would give us money or food and stuff, and we would take it down to the church, and there would be a makana to the church, and those who were as fortunate as we were.
I love that.
Yeah,
What a
that's-
great
that's-
story.
yeah,
So
so-
when you play songs like Silent Night in Hawaiian, do you think of those times when you did
I
carols on
remember being
horseback?
on Jimmy Boy. My tutu would be on her with her ukulele. My great grandfather with his guitar, and then there'd be a whole bunch of us, on horses, and maybe about 20, 30 people going from house to house,
Oh,
just singing.
how
And then
wonderful.
people would gather on the porch, and then they'd bring out makana.
And
gifts
they'd
for-
sing along?
Yeah, they'd
Yeah.
sing along. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we go to the next house, and we did this for a whole week. It wasn't only one night. We just did this for a whole week, and then whatever we gathered, we would give it to the church over there, and they would distribute among our community.
I love that.
Kupana Church, yeah.
Well, let's imagine we're all together back in the day when you were on Jimmy Boy, and the village is coming out because they hear the horses coming up, and you start singing your Christmas carols to the village.
Okay, so this is the first one. That's it. This song.
I'm there.
We gotta make it ready. We're walking out. O la'i, o kamaha'o, maluhia, lama, moi me kawahine e aloha e, me ke ki he monene e, moi me kama wiala ani, moi me kama luhialani. do it in English. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Come, young virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Moy me kamaluhi alani.
Oh, that's so beautiful. There is a piece about that song that makes it so timeless. Something about that song you really do feel the energy. Not a lot of songs talk about silence, except the
Yeah.
sounds of silence, but that one captures that magic
Yeah.
of Christmas. It really does. Play a favorite Christmas song you have.
This is the song that my friend Eddie Kamai wrote, and it's kind of an English Christmas, but he wrote this way back in the 70s. I remember I was in college. Meliklikimaka minamakana hohaoli nalili. Meliklikimaka moeko uhane ravanvanari ali. I love Christmas, candies and toys, the bringing of joy to all girls and boys. Bring me a gift, live in joy, for all to enjoy. There's a feeling of happiness coming close from afar. Oh, don't forget Sally and Fred, Mary and Lou, my dog Blackie too. Nilekalikimaka menamakana hohaoli inalili. Nilekalikimaka. Eddie Kamai and Myrna wrote Myrna Kamai wrote that song. Actually, Uncle Eddie mentored me in music, and I did a film with him way back in gotta be about '86 or something. And I raised, I had connections in the Senate, so we raised almost $1 million to do a movie called The Hawaiian Way. It's a Slackish movie, and then I got first
great
Hawaiian
film.
Bank to matches. It was a $2 million film.
Yeah.
In those days, they used real big film, 35
Yes.
millimeter, and you could only go for 10 or 15 minutes. Then you have to cut and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember doing I couldn't handle the. We had like 1 year of recording, and we had to put it. Probably about 3,000-4,000 hours of. And just to see them cut it and then throw it on the floor and throw it away, it was just like, it was nerve-wracking for me when
wow.
it came to editing. I remember that film with Eddie Kamai.
That was one of the great films, actually, one of the wonderful films. If you're just tuning in, I'm talking to the great Uncle George Kahumoku, who just received the Lifetime Achievement Award from Hara. It's a great, great honor to be in the family of Hawaiian musicians. You've gotten many Nahoku awards, but the Lifetime Achievement is special, and it was beautiful to see you in the company of those. Some have passed on.
Yeah, like the one for huapala.org, she passed on, Kakaiulani, and then her son was there, Martin, to receive the award. And then we had Jay Linkner, and he was in a wheelchair, and And then they had another auntie, Mona Joy, and she was 90-something years, but she still had a voice, man.
Really?
She actually played at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel years and years ago, and when it was in the 20s or something. And then here she was playing on the same stage.
Wow.
You're like at 93 years old. Can you believe that?
Chicken skin.
Yeah. So it was really something to see her. And then of course my a little bit younger than me, Randy Fong, and I worked for Commitment Schools. I was a school principal, and we wrote several songs together when I was a school principal down there. And he still stayed with Commitment Schools, and all the song contests, he was the guy who did all the choreography, everything. So
That's huge.
Yeah,
Did you make a speech?
Yeah, basically my speech was, I felt really honored and I felt humbled to be listed amongst those guys, and I did the song about Kamapua and Pele.
Well, you want to do that? I saw you did that in Santa Cruz. It's such a great song. Let's talk a little bit about Pele, because it's very auspicious that we've got the two volcanoes going off, Kilauea and also Mauna Loa, and that there's the ice and the ice goddess, and also Pele.
Poliahu, and there's
Yeah.
all these wars going on.
Yeah.
Well, these are stars that were stood. I went to commitment school, so they had a storyteller, Miss Caroline Curtis, would come around, and she wrote books about these legends too. But I also heard the same legends at my house. My tutu would tell me the same stories, and my grandmother and my great, and then all of the Polynesians, even the Micronesians, have stories.
Explain the story so the people.
Well, basically the stories about Kamapua, who's Kama means man and Pua means pig. He's part man, part pig. And he also has another form of a fish. When he jumps into the ocean, he changes into the fish.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Humu humu nuku nuku apua. That's why you take that fish and you throw it on dry land, and it starts to go, it starts to grunt like a pig.
I didn't know that.
So these are all kinola forms of Kamapua. Then there's, and Pele has a beautiful young woman, voluptuous, beautiful black hair, dark eyes, long flowing hair. Then she can turn into an old witch, with dark black, and she has a koila stick. It's a digging stick. She digs it's a magic stick. She hits into the ground and it causes the volcano to erupt. And then she also, and she's ugly, witchy, and everything like that. And then she can turn into a white dog. So she has these three kinola forms, we call it. It's like shape shifting,
I've never
Is
heard about the
that
white
what's
dog.
happening?
Yeah.
Didn't know about the white dog.
So what we're trying to do here, they tell the story about Maui, Disney World, and about and Lilo and Stitch and all. And to me, those guys are nothing compared to Pele and Kamapua. The legends of Kamapua is in the Maori tradition, the Samoans, the Tongans, the Micronesians, they all, even in some places of Thailand, they heard of Pele, and even the Philippines of Pele and Kamapua.
You know what's also interesting? Pele, the famous soccer player, has been in the hospital.
Oh my
Been
God!
very ill. Isn't that strange that
Yeah.
he's been in a very serious
wow.
condition in the hospital?
What a
Why Pele's
coincidence.
going off? Yeah, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not.
So I want to tell you how I wrote this story. Is that they have these battles that go on for years and years and years. And actually, the story is told to me that Kamapua came from the island of Kauai, and he had a dream about this beautiful young woman with Pele, but he didn't know she had shape-shifting forms too. So from Kauai, he goes to Naviliwi Holler, and as a young man, he jumps into the ocean, immediately turns into the fish. As a fish, he swims past the Oahu, past Diamond Head and past what's that? It's also this is stars in geography too, because he actually goes to Kaina Point, past Waianae Coast, past Pearl Harbor, past Waikiki. It's over to Sandy Beach, and he shoots all the way to Molokai. Goes to the backside of Molokai, past Kalaupapa, Pelikunu Valley. Then he shoots across to Maui, and he goes to Honokoha Valley, and shoots across towards Kanapali. From Kanapali goes to Kihei. From Kihei goes all the way across to Hana, and from Hana he shoots all the way across to the Big Island. So this is how we learn our geography on the pathway that I'm learning these kids these songs this story at 3 years old, And then from Hamakua he goes past Waipio Valley, and then past Lapuhoi Point. Then he goes all the way into Hilo Bay, and lands at Hilo Bay and a place called Moku'ola, the island of life. And then he changes into his pig form, and he treks 30 miles up the mountain to meet with Pele. Now these are stories that I wrote down and stuff. Now, eventually, they meet up, and when he reaches the edge of the caldera, he looks into Halimau, which means the house of Mau ferns, and he sees an old lady teaching these young maidens how to dance the hula. And then he immediately changes to his handsome young form. He's extruding with her, all, muscles and veins popping out of his neck and his legs and his thighs. And all the ladies get all so enthralled by him. They don't pay one bit of attention to the old lady who's Pele trying to teach him the hula. So they get all Google-eyed, and then but she has special powers too, Pele. So she looks at him, the old lady looks at him, and she says, "Oh, you're nothing but an old ugly pig." And it is. When he's at pig form, he has 40 tusks, 40 eyes, and he's drooling all over himself, chomping his books, and then, just drooling all over himself all the time. So that's what she sees. And then he calls her a bad name in Hawaiian. And you cannot fool around with Tutupe. So she with a kawila stick, she stomps the ground, and all the maidens know, oh no, they know how about her bad temper. So they all run away and scoot away. And the ground cracks open, and the ground starts to, lava starts flowing all around Kahumoku. Now he has another shapeshifter. He can go small like a mouse, but huge like a mountain. So he starts getting huger and huger. And if you ever have any animals, I like this part of the story. This is the only time we could talk about stuff like this in school or at home even. So Kahumoku gets really scared in his pig form, and he starts to he starts to urinate, and not only he starts to defecate. And this is making mountains and mountains. It's putting out Tutupele's fire. This story goes on, and they go from centuries to centuries, from island to island, these battles.
Wow.
Now, they eventually decide to make peace. And when they make peace, they divide up the island. So each island has one side that's Kahumoku side that has nice valleys and the rivers, streams. Imagine a pig huge like a mountain digging up those valleys. And the other side is always Pele's side with the rocks and the volcanoes. And, so... Then at the end of the story, Miss Curtis said, "So what part of the island do you live on?" So if you live on the windward side of the island, that's Kahumoku's territory. And if you live on the leeward, where Diamond Head is and all like that, that's Pele's territory. So anyway, getting back to the story, how I wrote this song is, I actually went to school from 68 to 68 to 74 at California College of Arts and Crafts. And some of my classes were at UC Berkeley. At the same time, there's a lot of demonstrations going on at Telegraph. That's where I got to play with Janis Joplin at a place called Cody's Bookstore. And on 7th Street, there's a blues bar. I work construction, so one of my friends owned the blues bar, Sylvester Marshall. So I got to play there with B.B. King.
Oh my gosh!
I also met, Norton Buffalo and Elvin Bishop, and we were all young in all those days. And the other thing that we had in common besides music, we love to eat. So I can go on and stories that even B.B. King, he had 6 suitcases, and his guitar, I think Lucille.
Yeah.
But only one suitcase had clothes. The rest of them had pots and pans. And then he carried his own cooking stove. No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I know.
He would cook up this big storm. He'd have go down to the 9th Street farmer's market, and they'd have ham hocks, and he'd buy 20 pounds of ham hocks, put it in his big 20 gallon, and he'd boil ham hocks. And in Hawaii, we used to eating beans, but out of a can. But he went out and got beans that was raw, in a bag, and then he bought them, and he soaked them in water. It's a whole process. I didn't even know you had to go through that overnight, and you take out all the pebbles and all it is, and he had stuff, and he made turnip greens and chitlins and sweet potato pie. I mean, he made this all on his cooking stove.
I know, I believe it. I did an interview with him when I was in Santa Rosa, and he had that. He did that same thing there. He did, and that was years ago, of course.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I want to hear that song though about that you did the song about Pele.
Oh yeah. So here I am. So one of the things that I got arrested too at People's Park, and we did a lot of demonstrations for Cesar Vez with Safeway stores and all that. So anyway, and one of the things we learned to do is sit down, and meditate. And I learned this thing called, It's kind of like slow down your heart, slow down, So after I graduated, I had a bachelor's in fine arts. I had a master's in sculpture. I had a 5th year teaching credential. Went home to the Big Island, no job.
Story there, yeah.
So I went up to Mauna Ulu, sat on the edge of the volcano, and I just meditated. I went, And after about 20 minutes of meditating, up came, I'm not kidding, from the middle of the volcano from Mauna Uluki, Tutupili started erupting.
Oh, wow.
And the fountain went about 5 feet, 10 feet. When it reached 1,000 feet high, I said, I better get the heck out of here. This is serious business. So it was the old chain of Creators Road. This is back in 70, gotta be 70, I came back 74, so it's around 75. So I headed up the chain of Creators Road. It took me about 2.5 hours. And when I looked back, there was now a curtain of fire going 13 miles long, 2 miles into the sky. And for meditation, I got inspiration, and I wrote this song about Tutupele. And this song was #1 on KCCN for almost 6 years. This song launched my whole music career because of this one song. And George Winston heard this song on the radio, and that's how he contacted me and my brother to be on his recording. So it just goes on and on
And then
and on.
from there, you land up meeting Nancy, who's now your wife.
Yeah. And then I met Nancy, who's not it's just like the one thing,
That's what other-
some people call it coincidence, something, but I just say I was at the right vibration at the right time. you know.
Yes.
So what's the name of this song?
The song is called Ho'okupu, and it's a gift from Kamapu'a to Pele. He's asking her for forgiveness, because they get into spats.
Now, yeah.
And it says, oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm just turning, I turn it first. Sorry.
Like that ringtone, yes.
I don't know how to turn it off.
Just silence it. Just turn it down.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to turn it upside down. I don't know how to put it. So anyway, and so I wrote this song, and from meditation, I got inspiration. Wrote this song about Tutupele, and it talks about
I think, by the way, you did this at the famous radio station called K-Pig, which kind of made sense.
Oh
as well.
yeah. And when I did this at K-Pig, they loved it. In fact, I'm doing a joint now for K-Pig. They think they know about pigs, but I raised pigs for 20 years. I told them I know all the sounds, even the mating sounds, the calling sounds, the hungry sounds. Like the one for if the sound's in heat. This is the heat sound. This is when they're hungry. Back to. That's the horny sound. And the males actually go over there with their nozzle. They actually go up and down the wahini's breast to stimulate them. And then I actually mimicked that, and I used to AI pigs. I don't know if this is getting too deep or too much information for you, but I used to artificially inseminate pigs, and I used to breed 15, 20 pigs. Just go down, and I put them in a bottle and went right down the line and fed them all. But I would run a boar scent in front of it, or a boar, to get them all stimulated. And I just go down and breed like
Let's play the song.
Okay, play the song. And a song about Kamafua and the part man, part pig, and Pele.
Okay.
Hey, no. Don't get me start talking about hey, Kamafua. I'm a farmer, you remember? Hey, me. Kalamahe oe. She moves all she touches. She moves towards the sea. She's a mover of mountains. Really moves me. He no ano. Kamapua. He me. Kalamahe oe. Burning eyes of desire, lips like burgundy, sparks of hair blowing through the breeze. She really moves me. Ain't no Kamapua. Emi, Kalamahe oe. Red and black are her colors. She's burning to the night. I can see her in the distance. She really moves me. Inoano, Kamapua. I can see her in the sunrise. See her when the sun sets. Burning urgency in her eyes. She really moves me. You know I know Kamafua Emi Kalamai Oe. Walking near the edge, guided by her light, I can feel her presence. She really moves me. You know I know Kamapua Emi Kalamahi Oe.
Yay!
Yay! Funny. Don't get me talking about pigs, though. Now I want to show you.
Yes,
I don't think
please
it's short.
do.
So,
Yes.
so what I've been doing is spending my time doing the songs, but doing the illustrations. This is Kamapua and his handsome young man form. This is Tutu Pele, a beautiful woman, and this is Kamapua in his fish form right here.
Uh-huh.
So that's what we're doing, and the song is called Hokupu, which means the gift. Kamapua.
Oh, the gift, of course.
Yeah. And then this is the black and white version of that.
Now, just for you that don't know, I mean, George makes sure he gets all of these. He does all these pictures himself. Isn't
Yeah,
that
yeah.
amazing?
Yeah, and then so I'm trying to concentrate more on that. And this is the table of contents, the story of Kamapua, and then this is the alala bird. This is actually almost extinct now. And then and I'm going to have booklets made, and 10 of these books is going to be into one thing. And then this is the story. We got more time I can tell. And this is Kamapua in his ugly pig form. He has 40 eyes and 40 tusks. See, I didn't put the drooling part. I figure you got to use that imagination. So to the stories, but these are stories. I actually drew these from my own pigs that I've caught away. And this is his journey.
Oh,
you
the
see?
journey around the
Yeah,
islands.
from Niihau, then he goes around, he goes
Uh-huh.
on Oahu, and then he goes all around over here, over Big Island, Maui, and then lands in Hilo Bay, and then trucks it all the way to Halemau. And this is Kamapua in his handsome young man form. You see all the muscles and the veins popping out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you captured the legend.
Yeah, and then this is Tutu Pele with all the Hawaiian bats flying around her, and the alala bird. And this is her kawila stick, her magic kawila she uses to dig up and cause the fire.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the story. So I wrote the story, and
You could make that as a children's book, as a coloring book
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
And then the other thing too, then what's even more important, now I have the sheet music to go along with the story. It's not before we just make sheets. And my friend David Hose, and David Hose was the programmer for all the Star Wars movies that I met to Danny Ho. And then this is their last. And the story I just told you about the song, how I wrote the song.
Beautiful.
And
Well,
then
do
it
you want
finally
to?
has the leftover. And this
I
is the
love
back
it.
cover. So it's a.
So
it'll
maybe
be
in a few
booklet.
weeks. Yeah.
And then this is actually the last copy. I just got it from the printers yesterday. So
How
then
exciting.
we're gonna make booklets, and then I'm actually doing each of these will be postcards.
Oh,
CDs
I
are
love it.
moving too
Yes.
great now, so I'm making postcards
Yeah.
of all the different pictures and stuff like that.
They make great prints, woodblock prints as well.
Yeah.
So let's play another song off this wonderful album, which is a perfect gift to give for Christmas, and to play as you're decorating your Christmas tree.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
playing it on our sister station, KEWE, and I'm going to add it to my station in Sedona, KUOS. Valerie says, "Where does Uncle find the time and energy to do all this? He's an amazing man." Well, that is true. I don't know how you do all this. You get up very early in the morning.
The thing is, I'm trying to. I've been listening to a lot of stuff on. I've been actually all these years. I didn't realize it, but I was ADHD, probably autistic on the skim, and also bipolar. I just started taking medication, and I only needed 3 or 4 hours sleep. I'm almost 75 years old, and just recently, I started getting diagnosed for all of this stuff, and then I mean, I taught kids I think that's why I related well with the at-risk kids. You know, a lot of them were autistic, a lot of them were bipolar, and I didn't realize that, gee, all the symptoms they take. So I'm taking this medication called Lexapro that actually helps me to get more balance. You know, but before I was always manic, especially during COVID. I got manic about farming. Like I had to have certain things done a certain way, and before that I was always get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. But then I would jump into the farm. But now, instead of jumping right into the farm, I go and I draw and I write first for 2 to 6 hours. I'm changing my habits so I can get back into the farming. So then, of course, that means that a lot of the farming. I mean, you wouldn't believe there's so many small things that I do. Like this morning, I cooked 100 pounds of taro. And we're making poi for what you call Lahaina Bakery, so they can make poi rolls. You know what I mean? And then we got the Maui Food Hub. We sell between $500 and $2,500 worth of vegetables and fruits from our farm. And then we also pick up some other farms that I've mentored, so they cannot move the sweet potatoes, the cucumbers. So I'm moving it for them, and I'm selling it to Tantes and TS restaurants and all of that. So, and then what took me, I have a couple of part-time workers, so I'm actually trying to find somebody to take over the day-to-day operations of our farm.
Yes.
I'm looking at moving my operation over to Watsonville. My daughter, my wife's birth daughter, her husband works at Watsonville schools, and I'm trying so we can do workshops and stuff like that. So 9 months out of the year, I think I'm going to be probably 8 months. Then when it comes makahiki season, then I'll come back to Maui.
We have 5 minutes, so I
Okay.
would love a couple Christmas songs.
Okay,
to go
let's
out with.
okay. This is a song. It's a song called. Well, there's several. This is a song that says, "You are the one. You are." It's actually a Maori song. I'm going to sing it in Maori first, and then I'll sing
It's
it.
a Maori song.
It's a Maori song.
Wow.
Yes. And you are the. I'm going to sing it. I'll remember the words in English. Kokoyo e matualani Kokoyo kawauta Kokoyo kumuola. You're the source of things. Kamehana ina mea apau Ekuhaku, you're my Lord, my Savior. Kamauna kie, higher than the highest mountain. Kokoyo. Why not? Oyo, uhaku, kamehana ina mea apau. Ekuhaku, kamauna kie. Oyo. Now, since Cindy Schumacher is here, I want to sing one of my favorite songs that speaks about aloha and love, written by our beloved Queen Kalani.
Thank you.
Ahe o kaua ina pali Keni aeala I kanahele He hai ana paha o kaliko Puai I le hua o uka. Join me in singing. Aloha oe Aloha oe a fond embrace. Oh, eat, oh, yeah, until we meet again. Until we meet again. Aloha to everyone out there until we meet again.
So beautiful.
Merry
See
Christmas.
everybody
So
on Mele
beautiful.
Kalikimaka, everybody.
Mele Kalikimaka, and thank you. Be looking for how will they get this beautiful piece that you're working on when they want it? How will they be able to
Yeah,
get
you can
it?
get this. You can go to my website kahumoku.com and order it. You know, and then you also can get the album too. And here's us going out for my Mexican please. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prosperos años. Felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prosperos años. Felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I wanna wish you a Mele Kalikimaka. I wanna wish you a Mele Kalikimaka. I wanna wish you a Mele Kalikimaka from the bottom of my heart.
Hey!
Merry
Merry
Kalikimaka,
Christmas,
everybody.
everyone.
Mahalo,
Thank
Cindy and
you.
Cindy in the
Love you,
studio.
love you, love you. Thank you for all you do so much. Love you, Uncle George, and thank you, Cindy, for all you do as well. There'll be an article in Lahaina News about this that you can do, and she did a nice story that will be out on the 21st, also about my book, The Christmas Gift, which I'll give you as my gift. Much love to you always. Aloha oi, and big hugs. How do you say big hugs in Hawaiian?
Big is nui.
Nui hugs.
Honi honi.
Oh, definitely. Nui,
Nui,
nui, nui, nui, honi, honi.
Yeah, nui nui honi honi.
Okay, aloha.